So we are going to talk about finishing the year strong.
No, we're going to talk
What?
about Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, so um, depending on how y'all vibe out to this, lol, we might do a longer video, really
We
explaining
should.
it all.
Yeah.
But basically, I can show the book. This is all based on the whole idea. I hope this is not backwards. You know, you carry the thing and it's
It
like
might
backwards.
be. Hmm.
The 12-week year. Okay, by Brian Moran
Hmm.
and Michael Lennington. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. And a quick synopsis. The premise
Hmm.
of it is that basically you know how the year, like in the business world, they'll say like Q1, Q2, quarter one, quarter
Yeah.
two, quarter three, quarter four. That's basically
Hmm.
January, February, March, April is quarter one, and then following. And so now we are in October, November, December. Wait, is it 3 months?
Hmm.
It's 3 months each, or is
Hmm.
it 4 months each?
Three.
Okay. So these last three
3 times
months,
4. So we
okay.
get the 4.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
there we go. 12.
Hmm.
So now it's technically quarter four, Q4,
Hmm.
but how they divide it is they divide that every quarter, every 12 weeks is a year. Make sense?
Hmm.
Well, we again, comment below, we probably make a video about it. But
Yeah.
anyways, happy new year. It's a new year because it's the last year. So technically every year, real year, you get 4 years. Am I saying
Kind
that
of.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you guys understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, just treating, this period between October and December as a whole year,
You start.
as a new year. And oftentimes, like when you get to the fall, I feel as if there's this natural slowdown.
Mm,
We're moving into the holiday
mm-hmm.
season.
You
It's
start eating
fall. It's
pie.
hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
It's sitting by the
Mm-hmm.
fire, relaxing, spending time with family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for us, we have so much on our plates. There's so much stuff that we're actually trying to achieve and trying to get done. Some time that we're trying to make up. We're not going to slow down.
Right.
Like for us, this year, this quarter really is about acceleration. It's
Guys,
about,
pumping the gas.
yeah, it's about doing the absolute most,
Mm-hmm.
showing up in the best way that we can possibly show up in
Mm-hmm.
all the spheres that God has called us to. And looking, let me not say looking, but working to make sure we see um, a harvest. I was going to say profit, but I'm going to say a harvest. There should be a harvest. She doesn't like me using the word profit. But we
I don't
should,
mind. I don't mind. Profit is what
yeah,
profit is. It is what it
yeah.
is.
Wherever we're investing our time, whatever it is that we're doing, we need to be
Mhm.
seeing a harvest.
Yeah.
We have
You should
had,
be reaping something. That's biblical. At the end of the
yeah,
day, you're sowing something. There should be something that's being reaped.
yeah.
The same way you go to your 9 to 5 and you're reaping what? A paycheck.
Hmm.
And maybe other things that you're reaping.
You ain't going for nothing.
You're basically.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, and for us, like when we've had just like a lot of conversations about things that we've observed in our life, things that we've observed in the life of our mom, things that we've observed in our just general family, in terms of lack, in terms of planting seeds that don't grow, in terms of not seeing harvests in the right season that you should be seeing a harvest in, and we're saying no more. So for us, we're really moving into this season, into this year, with a demand that we must see a harvest in terms of the things that we're doing, and we need to see it speedily. It's
Mm-hmm.
a 10x kind of situation. We serve a God of multiplication. We serve a God who we know will show up for us if we are in alignment, if we are positioning ourselves the right way. Meaning, we're living righteously. We're making sure that we're repentant, living in repentance. We are on the right path, and we are praying the right kind of prayers. My sister actually has something that's going to be coming out soon. It's called Prayers That Slay. So
Well, you know
listen,
what? Real
we're putting it
tangent.
out.
Last time she put me on the spot talking about I have something, the spiritual mapping thing. Guys, I did the spiritual mapping thing. Remember I said it's going to be in the thing? It wasn't put up. So we need to probably, maybe we can put it up in online so it can be there so
Mhm.
people can access it in that other way. But yeah,
But
okay.
she's about to put that out. It's going to be a free.
As per
Yeah,
usual.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Because.
Piggybacking off what she said, you said seeds that you plant that
Mm-hmm.
don't grow, and that reminded me of dud seeds. I
What's that?
think a dud,
Oh,
a dud seed. Um,
teach.
You know, like you have a seed, because this happened to us this season where my husband likes basil, and we were gonna plant some basil for his margarita pizzas and whatever else he does, and we planted them, they didn't grow, and we're like, oh no, they need time, they need time, and I don't know actually what happened, but they just didn't grow. So it's so funny when she brought that up. I was like, okay, it's a dud seed, but and there's a problem if it's a dud seed
And it's
because
a problem if it's a dead seed year after year after year after year. If it's a decade, if it's 2 decades.
yes, because the reason why is because the seed is supernatural. The seed, if you just go into Genesis and when God is creating the seed, when God just blessed everything and created everything, he made the seed supernatural. It's just almost like an egg, even a baby egg when it's implanted. There's something supernatural that happens as it starts to grow, and it's just like this. That's the amazing part. So if you have a seed that's not growing, there's a problem because the seed's job is to do what?
Yeah.
Grow.
That's the mandates.
It's to
That's the
germinate
that's the instruction.
and to grow. You
Yeah.
know, and then the other thing when you were talking that made me think, it made me think of the Bible talking about seed time and harvest. There's a time for everything. There's seed, there's a time that it takes for now the seeds to do what it needs to do, and then now there's harvest time.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, exactly what Tilu's saying, if you are planting seeds, and obviously you're using seeds as a what's the English word, how do you say it,
Metaphor?
as a metaphor, there we go, thank you, English major. You were an English major, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, um
Go ahead.
you,
Just keep talking.
yeah, the camera's moving when you're trying to
Oh.
open the door. But you know, you're using seed as a metaphor for all these other things. Are you invested into something? I don't know, maybe it's a relationship and you've invested time, you've invested, you know, blue, 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 but ain't nothing happening. He hasn't asked you to marry you yet. She hasn't changed her weird ways or whatever. Do you see what I'm trying to say? I mean, we can go far with this. Um, there's an expectation. You do this, this happens. Again, this is simple math, it's
And we
spiritual
should
math.
expect it.
You should expect it because it is what it is.
And if it doesn't show up, we have to investigate.
And we have to ask ourselves, what's the problem? Go back to another previous video we did, which was called spiritual mapping. You know, we should probably link it, the spiritual mapping
Okay.
thing in this here too. You have to go back because I actually took time and I was racking my brain and trying to create this flow chart for you guys to really think about it. You have to get to this point in your life where you're saying, why is it not adding up? Why is 1 plus 1 not equaling 2? Don't come up here and talking about x plus, you know, a equals.
Don't come up
We're
and
not doing
say,
algebra.
it's not my time.
We're not doing algebra. Not my time is algebra.
It's not my time.
Algebra. You're supposed to say something else.
What was I?
I don't know. What other excuses that people say? It's not my time.
No, that's actually where I want to rest. Sorry.
It's not
Or
my
it's
time.
in God's time, or God is going to do it when He's ready.
Calculus.
Those kinds of things.
Trigonometry.
Yes, because this is actually an excuse that we give in the church for not seeing results in the right season.
Okay, and not seeing results in the right season means, again, going back to the spiritual mapping, that there's something wrong. We serve a God of the immediates. Again, remember, God said
And we
something,
serve a God of timetables.
and
If
it
you
happens.
if you plant something in one season, it's supposed to, you expect to see those tulips.
Basically.
If the tulips don't show up, if that corn doesn't grow, if the wheat doesn't grow, there is a problem. There's a
Yes,
problem.
there's a problem. And also the
And don't
time
let people
isn't
tell
long.
us, we have to stop allowing people to tell us it's just not your time. God didn't say that.
No, he didn't.
It's not God's will. No, God's will is that the seed will grow.
Yeah.
That is always God's will.
The baby will grow 9
What did
months.
Jesus say to that
boom.
fig tree?
Oh, okay, there we go. Because
He
the
was like,
fig
what
tree,
is going on here?
because the fig tree was supposed to be producing and it wasn't producing when it was supposed to be producing, and so he said, "What? You're trash. You need to be
Die."
yeah, basically.
He was he didn't say, it's just not God's time.
It's not my time,
One
you
day
know.
God is going to put some fruit on this tree.
No.
He said, there's something wrong with this. No.
Like a dance.
He said no.
So, seed time harvest.
Mhm.
Again, there's a time for everything. The seed is supernatural. Whatever it is that you're believing for, again, remember, this is simple math. It's not algebra, it's not trigonometry, it's not calculus, and any other type of upper weird math. It's not that. It's basic math. God made it simplistic for a reason. So when you are at these establishments, LOL, also known as churches, and you have guest people, know people, whoever, telling you all sorts of weird things that fill in the whatever blank that another thing is maybe you need to come and sow. You haven't sowed into the ministry yet, or you need to join our church first, or whatever weird thing. You're not tithing, certain things that people are giving you, things that you must do in order for this to happen. That is not the case. Oh, we need to go to the special pastor. Mm-mm. The special pastor for me to actualize something that God has already told me I have within my own. Do you know what I'm saying? That He's already blessed me with. Why I gotta go to special pastor? Wow. Um. So yes. So let me tell a story, then we'll get back to 12-year week. So when I was talking to my sister before she showed up here, I was telling her because we were talking like, girl, we got so much to do, and I was like, oh yeah. So what did you say? I think she, correct me if I'm wrong. You said something. Oh, I think it's gonna be like a marathon, and I'm like, no, it's gonna be like a sprint. You know, you touch down and it's a sprint. And so we just want to encourage you all that again, with this new year, which is only 3 months, October, November, and December, it's October 1st, guys, sprint. It's time to sprint. All of those goals that you're trying to actualize, do you know what I'm saying? At the beginning of the year.
Yeah, those things that you really wanted to do at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the year when you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, wouldn't it
Mm-hmm.
be great if in 2023,
Mm-hmm. I
yes,
lost 20
guys,
pounds.
yes,
You got
guys,
time, boo.
we have time. We have time.
You got time.
And if we hustle, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
Mm-hmm.
I have that on my list. I don't know if you want to talk about some of your goals and
Yeah,
stuff
we
like
can
that.
go into it because I have that on my list too.
Yeah.
But my point is, I was telling you, it's a sprint.
Yeah.
Let's get it, guys. Let's get it all the way. At the end of the day, the church should be leading these things. The Bible also talks about that we will be, lenders and not borrowers. Are,
Mm-hmm.
are, are some of y'all borrowers out there? A lot of us are. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the end of the day, we need to start actualizing
Mm-hmm.
and actually, I don't use the word manifesting, but we need to start seeing
The fruit, the harvest.
the harvest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, God has given us this promise.
Mm-hmm.
God has given us plenty promises. God also promises that, see if I will not, if, again, simple math, if you read Deuteronomy 28, if you do this, see if I will not pour out a blessing that your storehouses cannot handle. Are some of y'all struggling with paying your bills? Is inflation taking you out? I was at the store the other day with the kiddos, and I was like, how much is lunch meat? I was just trying to find a quick meal because we were out and about. And I said, lunch meat is $8. And I was at Walmart. I says, $8? I said, you got me messed up. So is inflation taking you out? Like what is the thing? At the end of the day, God has given us a promise. No? Has he not given us a promise? And I feel like, again, I just want to reject this whole narrative that there's this poverty is our is our what is it? Like somehow there's a link between being poverty and being pious and being humble and just, this is my lot in life. And then if you come here and you say that, oh wait a minute, God wants to bless you, then you're being accused of being some sort of prosperity, um, like there's something wrong with it. I'm sorry, but did God not just say that your storehouses won't be able to contain the blessing that I'm
Amen.
about to pour out on you? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.
Amen.
That is the promise that I'm holding on to. And I keep on praying it. And I pray the word, reminding God about that. Seeing the goodness of the Lord in the land of the
Amen.
living.
Hallelujah.
And his goodness is his
Mm-hmm.
abundance.
Yeah.
When it comes to health, when it comes to just a
Yeah.
lot of
It's
things.
it's not just having enough; it's actually having overflow.
Overflow.
If
Because
you
that's
look
how
at,
God works.
yeah, if you look at someone named, like, I was gonna say, like Abigail, when she
Mm-hmm.
met David.
Mm-hmm.
When she met David, and she was trying to pacify him from
Mm-hmm.
coming to kill her husband and all of that, and um, cause an issue in his future in terms of having blood on his hands. Um, she had a storehouse full. She had, you know,
She had a
she
storehouse
had
full that she was able to, on
sheep that
the
was already
minute,
dressed,
she
raisins, grapes, all kinds of food,
breads.
stuff that was already ready. That doesn't sound like she had enough. It sounded like she had more than enough. She had
She sure did.
overflow.
It's so much so
Yeah,
that she went to her little pantry
yeah.
and she told the servant guy, load up, and she just started saying,
Yeah.
put that jam, put that cheese, put that this, put that. All
So
right.
just
What you got?
imagine where you've got enough for your household,
And
and
then some
then you have a whole nother public store full of stuff that you can actually send somewhere else.
to
So it's
feed
not so it's not really, it's not prosperity that we're
the
advocating.
mighty
This is
300.
this
LOL.
is what God,
David and all his
to
men. To
feed a grown man with his 50 million other soldiers.
who are hungry.
That sounds like big appetites.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of food
Yeah,
and good food. It wasn't
yeah,
just you know
yeah. But she had it
bread.
readily available.
Yep.
So, that's the way, that's what God wants for us, is to actually have abundance, an abundance of things that is readily available. That's not just enough for us, but it's enough to even help other people
To help the
should they need,
needy.
yeah, should they
Right.
need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or
Because we
even
are
if you
called to
think
be
about
generous and help
right, if you
help our
think about
neighbors.
like
Yeah.
Psalm 31 woman, and she's like that she looks at
Yeah.
the poor, she
Yeah.
considers their plight or whatever. Like so,
And
she's a
how
very
can you help the
charitable.
needy if you ain't got nothing?
You gotta have something. You got to.
Mhm.
You got to. And it can't just be, oh, I'm gonna take this piece of bread and cut it into half. No,
No.
it's just like the whole Abigail thing. You have to have that
The good
storehouse.
cheese, the good milk, the whatever.
You
It's
got
not
it.
just, oh, the scraps.
Nope. You got it. You got it.
David wasn't about to be impressed with scraps. He was about to kill somebody. He was about to kill every man in our house.
Nabal.
Nabal.
Nabal. Mm-hmm.
You think you could give him scraps and that was going to turn his heart? Oh.
So anyways, we're bringing it back to this book. It's a good read. We'll probably come on here and also talk about our other book that we really really like,
Yeah, so
which is the
I'm
one
actually
thing.
starting to reread because I read it at the beginning of the year, and
Hmm.
now it's just like, ooh, let me just reacquaint myself
That's when we
because
were gung ho about it.
yeah.
Maybe we'll also link down the other video where the people are talking about it. Remember the video that I said?
Okay, some of
It's
the
a
people
little
are doing
dry, to
walkthroughs.
be honest. It's a
Mm,
little dry, but what they're sharing is very helpful.
yeah.
So don't watch it when you're tired. You need to
Hmm.
have maybe whatever your drink stimulant is, your coffee, and just watch and just really
A
dig
bunch of
in.
espressos.
Yeah, dig in because what they're sharing is good. It's a way basically to also keep you accountable. So in a nutshell, you have your 1 year which is coming up. You have your goals that you've decided. You figured out ways to make these goals smart, right? Specific, measured, and rooted in time.
Hmm.
However, I mean everyone has a different
Tracking them. Yeah.
acronym for that thing, but they're good goals that you've met, and then now you track them. So every week you should basically give yourself a score and say, wait a
And I
minute.
believe at the end of your 12 weeks, there's rest.
There is.
Yeah.
There's a
Which
vacation.
is what I love. Yeah.
I think tacked onto
Yeah,
that.
because God is, we serve a God also who wants us to rest. But yeah, get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12
Hmm.
months.
Very
So for me,
specific.
I feel like this is just encouraging because I feel as if, it's you don't have time to lose enthusiasm for your
Mm-hmm.
goals. It's such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the idea is, hey, you need to lose weight, it's, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
need to get your nutrition back on track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need to,
You want to sell one house. If you're a realtor, you want to sell one house before whatever.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Whatever those goals are.
The time frame is so
Mm-hmm.
short that you really do have to be in sprint mode.
Mm-hmm.
And if that being in sprint mode
Mm-hmm.
helps you achieve something that you wrote on your, you know, your goal
Your
list back in
vision board or
January,
whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
then let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's not
Why
move
not
into
wait?
2024
Mm-hmm.
with stuff that we could have actually
No, no,
done in
no. Yeah.
2023.
Why wait? Why wait and say, oh, I'm just gonna do it in the new? No, 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 boo
God
boo.
wants us to actually be living
Let's start now.
abundantly now.
Today. Today.
Yeah. When did Jesus ever say, hey, come back in 3 months?
Hey Jesus, I have this
This
problem.
scab.
It won't go away. Come back in January because the New Year's when I'm doing
I'm doing, yeah, I'm taking new patients in
new
January. You
patients.
know how these hospitals be.
They
We're
be
not
doing the
seeing new
most.
patients.
We ain't seeing. We fool up.
No, let's be doing this stuff now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So one of my goals, I have a bunch. I don't have my book. Sorry, I didn't
Mm.
bring my book with me. But one of my goals, is to get fit. I probably have a good 20 pounds that
Mine too.
I can shed,
Hmm.
which is going to be interesting. And maybe I don't know. Maybe we should share that journey too. I don't know,
I
but
feel
we'll
like we
see.
could
We'll
probably.
see. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I
Just really
also,
trying
yeah,
to
for
rein it
me, it's
in.
also just getting fit. Initially, I was saying lose weight, and then someone was like, oh, maybe it should be to gain muscle. It's all of those things because I feel like we're both carrying more weight than we
Then when
used
our
to.
frames need to.
Then our frames, just
Yeah.
kind of just genetic, just
Yeah.
how we are and how the women are in our family, we tend to be a lot smaller.
Petites.
Um,
Very
yeah, I mean,
petite.
back in the day, she used to be a size zero. I didn't even know that that existed. So, yeah, and I used to be a lot smaller too. So for me, it's getting to a place where a I feel more comfortable, but also, as you age, they say as you age, you're losing muscle mass,
Mm-hmm.
and so actually getting into that strength training
Mm-hmm.
zone and actually building muscle
Mm-hmm.
is where I want to be. Like I really want to feel strong in my body. I want to
Mm-hmm.
feel fit,
Mm-hmm.
and because we're
Like
moving
if it.
into this season where it's like you're getting older,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to continue to be fit so
Mm-hmm.
I can actually continue to do the work that God has called me to do.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
if you're
want,
hanging off a roof, you might need to be able to pull yourself up.
yeah,
Just
like
saying.
I want to be able to travel. I want to be able. I'm not one of those people that where I'm like I want to do mission work,
Mm-hmm.
but I do want to be able to travel and do things that I feel like God has called me to do around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do that with my body being just unfit.
Not
Yeah,
in its perfect way.
yeah.
And then um, maybe we'll also attach the video of. Did you actually do a separate video about your whole vision that God gave you?
A train like David.
Train like David.
I don't know if we did a train like. Well,
I
we
think
do
we
have
did
a
a train like.
magazine for train like David.
No, but I feel like we did a video about it, didn't we?
Maybe we'll look for it.
Yeah, but Tilu basically, just in a nutshell, we'll give you a nutshell and hopefully we'll find it and link it. But if not, here's a
Yeah, I'll
nutshell
look for it.
that that Tilu had a revelation, before this the pandemic. Let's just say it that way. Um, that God basically said that only the healthy are going to survive or something like that. Anyway, so she took that to heart. So it was really about trying to be really fit and to just take care of yourself. And, just from the news and out and, hearing
Mm,
now how the science is going that a lot of people who probably had hypertension were, overweight, when it came to like the lung issues, there was a lot of people that weren't able to survive or just really struggled because of that. So we just want to be healthy because at the end of the day, our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. So it is really important
hallelujah.
for us to be healthy, to be able to even see, when you talk about seeing the goodness of the Lord of the land of the living, that's part of it. Health is wealth. That's one of the things. You have to be healthy. Imagine now if, you know, this is the thing. It's like everything is just so weird and backwards. You're gonna wait to your retirement to go see the world, but then you have hip problems. You can't even walk. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like I just want us to take care of ourselves, and to start, being vibrant. Do you know what I'm saying? There's something about being vibrant and being well that I think is really, really important. So
I think yeah. So we will come back to that particular revelation because I was just thinking about it as you mentioned. That was um, it was around May of 2019. It was May of 2019, maybe even April of 2019. But so April, May of
so that sounds like a
2019.
whole year before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was very clear. And I've gotten away from it, but this is why I know that I need to
You need
dial
to
it
dial
back
back
in.
in,
I don't
right?
know what else is coming, but it was very, very, very clear. It was, there's a war is coming, and only the healthy will survive.
Mm,
And for
mm,
me, I knew immediately because I was working a high stress job,
mm,
multiple jobs at the same time
mm,
in the film industry,
mm.
just with some really wacky people.
Characters, right?
Yeah. And wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating well, working crazy hours of the night. Very, very, very stressed, panicked all the time, just, work. I do accounting in the film industry, so it's just high stakes stuff. And it was just very, very stressful. You just,
Just stressful by itself, and then it
ugh,
doesn't help that you were working with
yeah,
weird people.
weird people. And
Hmm.
then emotionally, I was drained because I hadn't gotten paid in like 3 months. It was just because they couldn't actually finalize my deal. But here I am still hustling, still working and stuff like that. So yeah, I was sitting at work one day and, I just heard this voice clear as day, just crystal clear. And I immediately knew what the instruction was because of how my health was. And I threw it, I started looking at some gyms immediately. Like that first weekend that I had a chance, I started looking at gyms. Didn't like the first one. Went to the next one. And I was like, oh, okay, I can. This was actually really, really nice. Everybody's sweet there. Signed up. And God just kind of found ways to give me confirmation because I don't like to spend money. But he found a way to just give me confirmation so I can just go ahead and let them swipe my card. Extremely expensive gym, but yeah, started working out. Um, and I started seeing some changes. Got a personal trainer, and she was like, "Oh wow!" Like she sort of was like, losing inches and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, that job was just so stressful because I haven't seen changes like this in such a short period of time." So yeah, so for me, I need to get back to that. The same word that God gave me back then.
It still
It still
stands.
stands.
It still
Yeah,
stands.
yeah. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
find a way to figure out how we can bring that back, because I do think if we could help to encourage people
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
to take control of their health, because we really don't know what's coming next.
You know,
We don't.
people are doing
We
the
don't
most
know
out there.
what is happening in this ecosystem. We don't know.
You don't know.
And one thing the pandemic should have taught us is that our immune system is our best defense. Because at the end of the day, when you go to the hospital, it's just your immune
Well,
system.
first
It's
of
not
all,
like they're giving you anything.
the hospital is one of the worst. You go
Yeah,
out, you go in with just one thing, you come out with
yeah.
two things. Now you have some
Mm.
sort of MRSA. You
Yeah,
know,
but
it's
it's really your own immune system that they're depending on. This ventilator, like it's just either it's just management of
it's management,
symptoms,
right? Because they weren't. Yeah, it's management. They'll put
but
you on the
your
thing, or
body is going to have to pull you through.
basically.
So can we make sure that we get
Mm-hmm.
our bodies into
Mm-hmm.
at as peak a condition as
Mm-hmm.
possible?
Mm-hmm. Get
Because
some.
it's
Make sure
our
you're.
body that's going to have to pull us through the next thing and the next thing and the
Make
next
sure you
thing.
have your vitamin C. You have your vitamin
Yeah,
D. High dose vitamin D will take you far.
yeah.
Um, just a quick drop. But yeah, just make sure again you're sleeping well. Make sure these are things that we can do. Again, this is back to the whole
Hmm.
health as well. Wealth.
Rest, the
There's
stress
certain
that I
things
was
that
in.
you can
How
do.
are we processing our stress?
Mm-hmm.
How are
Mm-hmm.
you resting? Are you resting at all?
Right.
Are you taking time for you? And we were actually having a conversation once about how sometimes people we think self-care, like, oh, I went and got my nails done, got my hair done,
Yeah, we were having that
da da
conversation.
da, I got my pedicure or whatever, and that equals rest. So my question was, is that really rest? If you're sitting there and somebody is da da da, and there's all this noise around you and stuff like that,
And
and you're busy
fumes.
getting the flowers on your fingers and stuff like that, like, is that rest for you? Do you feel restful in that process? Or is it just, I'm just taking I'm grooming, and I'm ticking something off of my grooming list? But is that rest? And are we sometimes calling certain things rest that aren't actually restful for you? And maybe you just need to spend time and think, hey, what actually makes me feel restful? Is it knitting? You know? Is it just laying out on my porch,
Mm.
sunbathing?
Well, and it's part of this conversation that I basically was talking about the importance of a plan. I'm going to show Tilu's abused planner. But for those of you who don't know, we actually we're a planner company. LOL. I mean, that's the other thing that we do is that we run a planner company. It's called the Goodness Planner.
Mm-hmm.
And part of this conversation that we were having, I was saying that you know what,
Open the window.
actually, self care is having a plan. That's what self care is for me in this moment.
Mm,
Meaning, you have a plan and you already know that what's for dinner. You've thought through. You've seen that you've seen all the different permutations, and you have a plan for it. So then now you just have to walk through and execute, and that just allows you just to walk through in a much more relaxed
mm.
and easy day rather than the franticness that can happen. Let me tell you something. There's nothing like it's 5 o'clock, you don't know what's for dinner, and everything is frozen, and you start now having to thaw out meat for dinner. I do that all the time. Do you know? So I'm a professional at that. I know it's frantic. Having a plan is one of the best things that you can do. Having a plan for your rest, having a plan for your workouts, having a plan, you know what's for dinner. You know these things. So at the end of the day, it's just now a matter of execution. So, anyways, again, like my sister was saying, we talk a lot, and so this is one of the things that we were just talking about. And I was just saying, you know what, nails and all of that is good, but I think this is even better because it's just the amount of peace
Mm.
that can just be upon you, when you have a plan,
When your day is organized.
when your day is organized. So, hence now, we are talking about the whole 12-year week and using our GPs, our goodness planners, to 12 week
I thought you were about to
this
show the.
this
Well, we
last
can
thing. I don't know. I
Um,
don't know if you can
you
even. Can
probably
y'all?
can't
Y'all
see it.
can't even
But
see it
anyways,
that
we
well.
do have a section on our daily page for rest.
Let's see. Can you see?
I don't
My
think so.
camera ain't doing nothing. Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
we go.
There we go. Where is it? Rest. It says it right there. Rest. Because we really want people to, prioritize resting. You put in a hard day of work. You've done this, that, and the other, and so it's nice to have a plan beforehand. That okay, again, like what Tilu's saying, I like to knit. Take up knitting. Find a YouTube channel that can teach you how to
Mhm.
knit. I like to go for hikes. Okay, so today I'm gonna go on this trail.
Or
You know.
maybe it's I like to talk to my bestie. I mean, it used to be like back in the day, like when I had like kind of recently graduated from college, I would talk to like my friends all the time.
Mm,
And then the older you get, you start having commitments, you start having, like you're moving on with life.
mm-hmm.
You don't talk to people as often, like
Right.
just real conversations on the phone.
Mm,
So maybe that gives you rest, is really
mm-hmm.
just having an
It's
hour
connecting,
to
right,
talk to your old
to
girlfriend.
your people then.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just kicking it up and talking about old stories. Oh, you remember back when we were you staying in such and such a dorm and all of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All that kind of stuff. If that gives you rest, okay, give yourself permission
Give yourself permission to have the rest.
to have the rest. And I think if you know that you've organized your day in a way where you're able to take care of all of your commitments and still build that in, even that just is relaxing mentally. That
Meaning when you've
you're
checked
meaning
off
you're
everything.
not talking to someone that's eating into time, that your productivity time.
Mm.
You're having a conversation that you've already built into your day. Like
You
I
built in.
know
You
I'm going to
know
be
that.
spending an hour catching up
From
with Katie.
at 7, I'm gonna call Katie.
You know that.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it's
you've
not like,
accounted for
oh,
the
you've accounted for it.
right. So
So
it's
it's not
not. It's
like
not stealing from
it's not
something
stealing
else.
from something else.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So you said that. So both of our goals. One of our goals, we'll just share quickly, is that we're talking about getting fit.
Fitness. Yes.
Um, did you have another goal? I think you were trying to prioritize rest, right? A
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to prioritize rest too because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that goes in tandem
Mm-hmm.
and with your fitness goals. If especially I think these things happen the older you get. How you're metabolizing your cortisol and all of this stuff. Like it can actually affect your ability to see changes on the scale
Mm-hmm.
if you're not also making sure that
Mm-hmm.
you're having a management plan for stress factors.
LOL.
What?
We were at Sam's Club, and my sister wasn't believing what the little machine. You get the free machine in the back that tells you your weight and your body fat. Teal's like, I know this machine's lying. I'm like, I don't think it is. But the funny thing is, previously when I had gone there, maybe 3 weeks prior, I was with the kiddos, and I said, this machine is a liar. I'm like, I know you lying, because whatever it told me back, I said, oh no, oh
Mm.
no.
But it's fine. We actually initially were thinking we would do this like with our family, and I think we're just going to do it ourselves
In
and
the solo
maybe
thing.
and just
Maybe
encourage you guys
yeah,
as
maybe we'll
well.
bring you along. I don't know how that works out because
And
it seems
just
like
in
a lot of
terms,
work to be doing all that video stuff. But maybe we'll try and find a fun way
we'll see.
to
But
share.
just know that this is what's on our heart. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be
Hmm.
really pushing fitness, nutrition,
Mm,
rest.
rest.
Yeah.
Another thing for me for rest, I'm trying to read more. There's a lot of books that I've ordered and I just haven't read. And I think
I can't remember the last time
you
I read a book.
again, yeah, the funny thing about reading is like you actually have to create that margin, and the reading is being like the competition is high with Netflix. Do you know what I'm saying? So you really
Well,
have to
also
just shut
Instagram. Can you? I can't.
all
You
of those
see, like
things.
back when we used
You
to
got to
read,
shut them
read.
things off. There
You
was none
know,
of those things.
we didn't have the Instagram calling your attention. Now it's just like, oh, there's a notification,
And
boom,
the
and
books
then
were
your
where it's
phone is
at.
just
You're
bing,
like,
bing,
no, please
bing.
don't talk to me. I'm on chapter 3. Kiki, kiki. You
All
know.
these emails that you really don't need. Oh, there's another email. Like, so maybe also just rest might be turning off
Turning off those
notifications off of your
devices, or
phone.
yeah.
Just like either because unsubscribe. Sometimes that takes a lot of work for me, but maybe
Right.
just
Just
turning
quieting down, or
notifications.
right. Putting your phone on silent at a certain time so you don't hear all that bing bing. And the science has shown, the people have said, this is a tangent, that they do all of this science and sorry, sounds
Uh-huh.
and all of this to make your head go huh, because imagine if you're in the kitchen, right, and you hear your phone going bing,
You're
and there's a
curious.
part of you's like, who's that? Why are they doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
I'm curious.
They already know how our brains work and the fact that we're heavy wired, to want people to like our posts,
Mhm.
to want to be in communication. And so that's why if the person hasn't responded 3 days later, you're like, how come they haven't, you know,
Mhm.
they already know how we're wired. And that's why, all of these sounds and all of that are just really a challenge. So you just even silencing your phone might be the rest that you need for you now just to focus on being with your family, maybe being more focused when you are with your family. Do you know what I'm
Maybe being
saying?
less restless because there's an anxiety that comes when you hear pings. All these WhatsApp chats and stuff like that. You know,
Especially for some of y'all who are popping off on the WhatsApp chat, or you're on Instagram commenting on all, getting on these Instagram fights.
yeah. Sometimes we. That's the thing. You know how sometimes you just feel led to make a comment on somebody's post, and then somebody's gonna comment on you. Well, you need to,
Well, that's
and then it
why,
gets you.
and
You
then
get
you
on
get in
there,
your feelings,
and then
and then
you start. So then it draws you in closer, deeper. So maybe one of those things that well, I try to exercise some discipline in that way because I know that I might regret what I write, and then I might actually, after somebody responds, find myself going back and forth, and I don't want that energy.
mm,
I don't need to go back and forth with
mm.
nobody online.
And to be honest,
Mhm.
there's a quote that I used to say. I read it in a book. Stop being curious about things that don't concern you. I can't remember, but I liked it because it was kind of a kind of a sassy kind of response for some of us. Sometimes you're seeing the things as you're scrolling.
Mhm.
If you know something's probably going to be a trigger, there's certain things in the post or whatever. Don't bother with. Don't click
Especially
on it.
race related things.
Don't click
That's a
on it.
that's a trigger for me.
Just don't click
Is
on it.
some of these race things because I notice when people sometimes these black positive posts, black people jump in and we hype each other up, right?
Hmm.
And then there'll be these people that'll come on
The trolls.
and say, "Oh, that's so racist." It's just like,
Right, right, right. And that's
and
why
then
they're trolls.
you see that
And
it's a
then you start
trigger.
getting involved in these things. So I think either don't comment, don't look at it. And also, what I've also
Well,
done,
sometimes it's hard not to look at it, but try not to comment. To be
right.
honest, because once you're in, you are
It's
you
like you're
are you are
sucked into
in.
the
Yeah.
matrix. I think
Hmm.
also another thing is what I've done is I've taken the time to actually tell the AI, I don't like this post, not interested. There's things that you can do to say not interested. If
Don't
you,
show me these channels
yeah, if
anymore.
you start doing that, then you'll get a feed. You can sort over time curate
Curate a
a
feed.
feed that really is more aspirational and is a thing. It's the people making the vegan meals or whatever it is that's interesting you. The people with the stretching, things, because those are things that are helping you move your needle in life. We have gone completely off what we were talking about. You started off strong
I
talking
know,
about
but
seed,
we're talking about
time,
rest,
harvest.
but now we're
So we
talking
were
about
rest. We've talked about the 12-year week. We've talked about our planner. We'll probably talk about it more in depth. So you can probably even see us putting that
goals. I
in.
think it's important to write down the things that you are looking to achieve in this period. Say, for example, you're not going to follow the 12-week year with us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what goals? What handful of goals? Not like the list of 15,
No,
but
no, no.
what handful of goals do you think you could kind of chase,
Mm-hmm.
pursue in the next 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
Can you write them down? Can you at
Mm-hmm.
least kind of think through some action
Mm-hmm.
steps
Mm-hmm.
and find a way to hold yourself accountable?
Right. Well, that's a nice way that you just summarized that. Yeah. So you need to have the goal, something that's, don't say something crazy like you're trying to go to the moon. I mean,
Hmm.
come on, people. That's not going to happen in the next 3 months. I mean, it could, but maybe not.
Hmm.
So think about something that's doable, and then doing the action aspect that you're talking about. Okay, so how are you going to now achieve this goal? Okay, so in order for me to be a better cook, I'm going to need to at least cook a meal every day. Do you know what I'm saying?
Or
And
if, say, for example, hey, you want to feel like you're getting more fit, what is just getting 10,000 steps a day?
mhm,
And how can you do that? Maybe you already get 3,000, and maybe it's just about getting an extra seven, and that
mhm,
might mean just a 40-minute walk in the morning or in the evening
or
after
during
work
your lunch break or
or during
whatever,
lunch, something like
So
that.
it's now
And then 3 months
finding,
later, you are going to be fitter. Maybe you haven't actually lost weight on the scale, but you are fitter, you're healthier, your body.
or you've seen the inches
Yes.
go, because sometimes that's what it is. You may not see
Mhm.
the scale change, but you've seen the inches. So yeah, it's now creating those actionable steps to make sure that you are now actually, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pushing, you say pushing the needle forward.
Mm-hmm.
How do they say that phrase? Anyways, moving the needle forward, right?
I can't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I think maybe if we can just kind of come back to that element of sprinting
Mm-hmm.
and not just let's not let like sometimes people are like, oh, let's be intentional, but I think if you just have that, if you're visualizing a shikari, if you're visualizing somebody sprinting, somebody really really hustling and going after it, sometimes and I feel like it's important for me or for us, and maybe it's important for you if you feel like you have been going through life and there's certain areas where you haven't seen results, you haven't seen fruit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not seeing fruit, you're not seeing results, well then whatever we were doing before, let's not keep doing that.
Right. Well, that's the definition of insanity, right? The common thing about
Yeah,
doing the same thing over
yeah.
again and expecting some sort of different
Let's
results.
figure out how we sprint, and so and some of it is really this, the practical stuff. Then we also have the spiritual stuff
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, you know are you making sure you're getting in your word every day? Are you making sure that you're worshiping? Are you making sure that you're praying? Are you making sure that you're fasting on some sort of regular basis? Like with us, for Stacy, we try to encourage our community to fast once a month. It's the end of the month from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.,
We
last day
just
of
did
the
it
month.
yesterday.
Yeah, and that is really just to help everyone in our community um, develop a discipline of
Yeah,
it, and to remember
it's
that,
really for the
hey,
discipline.
as part of my Christian walk, this is what I am supposed to be doing. So it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to fast with us on the end of the month. It's really just supposed to
Just
be
do
this
it
trigger, like, hey, a month shouldn't go by without you fasting,
and
basically.
doing it regularly.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
should be a
not.
regular thing. Just like
So
you don't
yeah,
just take your walk once a month. You
right.
you know.
And because it's a muscle. It's a spiritual muscle that you're trying to to develop, and you don't want it just to be like, oh, now I'm in a crisis. Now I'm gonna fat. No, no,
No, no,
no,
no. Let's
boo.
not do the crisis thing. So let's actually be let's do the practical work in
Mm-hmm.
terms of reading the books,
Mm-hmm.
doing making sure we're planning our days.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, using the Goodness Planner, which is $25
Oh yeah, you want to talk about
um,
the?
for now, like for today and maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, we've been having a
Yeah,
warehouse
we've been
sale
having a sale for a little
for
while,
a little bit. So if you want a planner, it's an undated planner.
so you can get started
Um,
whenever you want
it's a
to.
great deal for
Premium
$25.
product.
dollars.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fabulous for the
Mm-hmm.
price point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those practical things, and then it's the spiritual stuff. It's about doing that spiritual work
Mm-hmm.
as well. Making
Mm-hmm.
sure you're getting your fasts, making sure you're reading that Bible, making all of that stuff. It all goes in tandem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you aren't seeing the results, let's challenge it, and let's not end this year complacent and say maybe next year. No, maybe now.
Listen, right as we're speaking, I'm seeing my neighbor walk by. This is like her fourth time
I think it's her
walking by.
fifth. It's her fifth because
You
she
want
walked with her boys twice,
twice,
and
and
this
now
is her.
this is
This
her
is
second. Yeah, you do
she's
you see what
getting.
I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think she's definitely on that
She's
twelve
doing
thousand step
she's
situation.
getting her steps in right now, and I see her all towards sorts, all type of
And I
weather.
will say, she's fitter than she used to be.
Real talk.
I
When
She
she
used to
first,
be
she
a
used to be
bit on
bigger.
the
She used to be a
plumper
little.
side.
Yep.
Now I see she's she's
She's
she's toned
slimmed
up,
down. It's
and I see the
amazing to see.
muscle.
It's amazing to see.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm just
now
like,
we
oh,
need to
okay,
get on.
girl.
We need to follow her around.
Mm-hmm.
Get on her
And
so
she's not running. It's
she's just
just a
walking.
walk.
To
So
walking.
maybe she goes in and she does some push-ups and stuff like that. But at least when we see her in the community, it's
It's
it's a
walking.
it's a it's a walk.
Hmm. Which is really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess in closing, 45. Just thinking about wanting to remind you just spiritually that, the promises that God has for you. I know we started off talking about, you go to some of these churches, people are saying it's not your year, it's not whatever. But it's really, really, really important to see that if you've planted a seed of whatever,
Mm-hmm.
fill in the blank, and you haven't seen if you haven't even seen it germinate, there's a problem. Because if you plant a bean right now in the right circumstances, meaning there's water and
Mm-hmm.
there's sun, like, is it what, after five
Mm-hmm.
to 10 days, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to start to see something is happening.
Mm-hmm.
If something is not happening, which again is a case of the immediates
Mm-hmm.
because it's supernatural,
Mm-hmm.
then wait a minute, wait a minute. let me reassess things. There's no reason for you to waste your time, 5 years, 10 years, 9 months, wasting time. And some things, you should start to see things moving. And if now you're at that place, we're really going to try to link that whole spiritual mapping. But now is when the time you need to start praying, fasting, and talking about, you know what, that's the scripture we wanted to share about God restoring the years that the cankerworm, the whatever worm, and is it three different types of worms have stolen from you. There's sometimes we got to get deeper with spirituality. You got to understand these things on a deeper level. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, we're at these churches that are just doing nothing but confusing us, giving us all these rhymes and riddles that aren't doing nothing. We need to understand that that as much as God came that we may have life, that there's also an enemy out there whose job is to kill and to steal and to destroy. So he is one of the things he does is he steals from you. He's stealing. That's why the Bible now is saying the years that the cankerworm and the devourer worm, what are these, all these worms? Sorry, I don't have my Bible, so I can't look it up, but you guys can Google it, you know? And asking God to restore this, to restore it.
That's our prayer.
That should be your prayer if you're not seeing something. And join us. You don't have to join us for a fast. As my sister said, just fast. Fast today, fast tomorrow.
Yeah, fast by yourself, fast with a friend, you know.
And don't do the Daniel fast because that's not the fast.
Yeah.
And you know what? We should actually upload that video because we did a video about how the Daniel fast is not a fast. Y'all be going to these churches saying no, the Daniel fast. They were doing that because they wanted to abstain from the unclean food that the king was eating because it was unclean. Fasting is abstaining from food. That's what fasting is. But anyways, fast, pray, make sure you're living a righteous lifestyle. Again, this is simple math, guys. Let's make it simple and
Yeah, and just have in your spirit that it's that the you I don't want to say you deserve a harvest, but there must be harvest.
yeah, that's even better, Tilo, because we love to talk about you deserve it, you deserve it. No, there must be a harvest because that's just what it is. It's
Yeah.
seed, it's time, and it's harvest.
Yeah.
Period. It just is what it is. Just like the sun comes up, the moon comes up. It is what it is.
Yeah, so let's hold on to that and move forward towards the end of the year with an expectation that we're going to have testimonies.
Mm,
Yeah, we
good
need to be
testimonies.
good testimonies testifying that
Mm-hmm.
hey, we
Just look
we
and
we
see.
embrace this
Come
word,
and see
this
what the Lord
message,
has done for me.
and look.
Mm,
And I rejected those messages about it's not my time.
hmm Let me
If
just
I'm investing my time, there must be something on the end of that.
let me just also add, and I don't want to take us backwards, but just the same way that Tilu just mentioned that there must be a harvest, there's also must be because then you sow and you reap.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. If y'all out there doing wrong, lying,
Oh, there we go.
doing all the mess, sleeping around, I don't know, whatever people are doing, things that are not of God, there's also a harvest
There
of
must be a
that.
harvest there too.
Period.
Yeah, so sometimes we're seeing results that really are us.
Yeah,
It,
you
it's
yourself did that.
it's 1 plus 1. This is what you got.
Equals
Don't blame nobody.
that too. Mhm.
Let's not blame nobody.
Mhm.
This is the harvest. It's
Mhm.
God is respecting, whatever we're covenanting ourselves to on this
Mhm.
earth.
Mhm.
He's gonna respect that.
And that's why we said
Mm-hmm.
that as long as you're living a righteous life, so we like to stress that
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you be listening to people, they just be talking about blessings. No, blessings come, but there has to be,
Mm-hmm.
this the Bible says, seek first the kingdom of God and his
It's
righteousness, and
conditional.
everything else
And
shall be added
oftentimes in
unto.
church, we're kind of taught that there's no condition.
No, there's a
Jesus is
condition.
love, and that's it.
No, there's a condition.
There's always a condition. We
There's a
have to
condition.
live a particular kind of way. Yes, there's grace, but
Mhm.
let's not
We can't. We
let's not
can't
move through
just.
life banking
We
on
can't
this
just
grace.
be
Yes,
everything is just grace, 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 grace,
no.
grace. No, you need grace
There's
when you
a
need
there's
it.
a Bible math, and let's work with that math. And
Mm-hmm.
if God is going to give us grace on the back
And
end,
praise the
thank you,
Lord.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not be
Let's not just
living
be
thinking, oh
resting
God,
our laurels on grace.
oh grace is just going to come down.
No,
This grace is just going to come down.
no.
Not for
Mm-hmm.
all of us.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Not when is what you deserve is judgment because of the junk that you've been doing. But
Yeah.
anyways, Yeah. So, anyways, we again hope you're well, and we're excited. Well, hopefully you'll join us
I'm really
on this
excited.
whole,
Yeah, and I hope that
Happy New Year.
I do hope some of y'all do join us.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, you personalize it, make it your own. But
Make it
like,
your own.
I hope that we could that some of y'all will look at this next couple of months and not rest and not relax. Rest is coming,
Hmm.
but we can still get some gains now.
Yeah. Now's the time
Um,
to Tiamoto add the speed up.
yeah, and let's enter into 2024 in with a momentum that
Mm,
is
mm.
just
Imagine that you're not just lazily think about it. You're already
slumbering into the
yeah.
new
You're
year.
just you're starting already with wins underneath your belt.
I want to start the new year with checks.
She does that with checks. LOL. I love that. Anyways, so we'll leave it there because this is already practically an hour. And
I want to start the new year with the house.
all right now, and then we'll come back. I think we'll probably do several other small little
Hmm.
videos, maybe to add to this whole 12-week year. Again, we just wanted to add some encouragement there and add, a spiritual spin to it, just so we're not just out there just thinking that this is just something that applies to the world. No, it applies to us too, those of us who are in the church. And go get yourself a goodness planner. Support our ministry. Again, you may not know, but our ministry is supported. This is how we are trying to, make the margin is through our business, our for-profit business, the Goodness Planner. So, if you guys are early Christmas shoppers or yeah, birthdays or whatever that's coming up, or even the new year that's coming up, because again, it's an undated planner, this would be the time to get it because again, it's going to only be on sale for a few more days and then we're going to switch it back to whatever
Maybe
the
one more day.
Tuesday, one more day.
This
So,
is you. I wasn't. That's what she said.
so anyways, that's it. And we hope you're well. And
And we're back.
she said the last time. Did she say this last time? And then she was gone for like 6 months. And she remember you came back and you said, we're back.
I was gone for like a year.
LOL. Hilarious. Anyways,
Yeah.
take care, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye.